Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable speakers, honorable audience. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nurfaizah and I'm a student of Socio-Cultural from Ushuluddin Faculty UIN Sunan Gunung Djati, Bandung. And the first, I say thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and I say thanks to for my opportunity, then I can present my article in Conference International of Socio-Cultural Studies 2022 by the title The Impact of Domestic Violence on Children's Mental Health. And this opportunity, I want to explain about my research purposes, so research methods, and result and discussion, and the last is conclusion. And the first is research purposes. The extent of this research is to find out what impact domestic violence has on children's mental health, because the impact of domestic violence is not only physical, but can also have an impact on the psychological. And domestic violence doesn't only affect victims who directly experience violence, but children are also affected. And the second is research methods. This research is a type of qualitative research with a descriptive analytic method. Sources of research data include primary sources and secondary sources. The primary data source for this research data is a literature study from a book by the title The Law of Domestic Violence. Meanwhile, the secondary data is the form of literature related to this research topic, including journal articles, books, and others. This data collection is done through literature study, while data analysis was carried out through the stages of inventory, classification, and interpretation. And the third is result and discussion. Domestic violence is an act committed by a person or several people against another person. The action causes the victim to suffer physically, sexually, or psychologically, including threats of explicit action, coercion, arbitrary deprivation of liberty, or economic oppression, which occurred in the household sphere. Domestic violence also has a negative impact on the child. Even though the child doesn't directly feel the violence from the perpetrator, but a child can record the incident, in the sense that indirectly the child becomes a witness to violence within the scope of his family. It affects the mentality of the child because the family is the closest interpersonal relationship to the child. It becomes the main review for the child's mental health. In line with the result of research conducted by Yanita Nasution, studying the impact of domestic violence on a child includes stress, like unconfident, experiencing anxiety, imagining the violence committed by perpetrator. And the last one is conclusion. Violence within the household or family will have a negative impact on the child, especially on the mental health of the child himself, such as making a child anxious, afraid, traumatized, always imagining the violence perpetrated by the perpetrator against the victim, and causing loss of confidence in a child. Yeah. And maybe enough from me. I say thank you for attention and I say sorry from my mistake. I'm Ivan Nurfaizah. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.